Yo, 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 what up, everybody? Welcome to the In Off the Bench Podcast Network's Grid and Grind Show. I'm your host, Daniel Ball, and today we got a good one. We are not doing interviews today. We are doing something that's super important, and really it's necessary to the preseason and to what we got going on, because in just a few weeks, Grid's kicking off. And, before we kick off, we got to know where everybody stands. We got to know the ins, the outs, and the rankings. So today, I'm bringing at you the power rankings, the 2025 preseason power rankings for the United Grid League. But before we get into the power rankings and all the good stuff and the fun, the Grid and Grind Show is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis, from bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin. Old Dominick's got you covered. Stop in today for a tour or just to pick up your favorite bottle. Chinook seeds, whether you're on the field or in the boardroom signing deals, Chinook helps you get the job done. 8 flavors, mild to wild. Go to your local gas station, convenience store, grocery store. Go to the snack aisle and pick up the best sunflower seeds in the game. Jesus One Apparel, embodying, living, breathing, loving the message of John 16:33. Jesus wins and continues to win each and every day. And finally, Koya. Shout out to Koya for the nice, awesome case of cacao bean that they sent me. Head over to Koya's website, drinkkoya.com. Enter the promo code MOREKOIA 15. I'll say it again, MOREKOIA 15. Get 15% off your order. And with that, we got to get to it. These are hot. They're coming out, flaming. And I want to put a little precursor to these rankings. Now, if you're someone who is privy to getting butt hurt, if you're someone who's privy to having your feelings hurt, may not be for you. But what I will say is I put a lot of love and passion in getting to know the players and the athletes. And this is just one guy's opinion, one guy's take. If you don't like it, you don't have to say anything. But if you feel inclined to say something, here's what I need you to do first. I need you to roll back your troll throne. All right. Stand up, walk your butt over to the bathroom, stand in front of the sink, gaze up into the mirror, and tell that person that you see they need to do better if you don't like these power rankings. So with that, let's jump into it. Coming in at number 8, the Houston Bandits. All right. Houston, newest expansion team to the United Grid League this season. Obviously, Sophia Davenport. She's the owner. She's a coach. She's a player previously of the Breakers. She's got a huge task this season. She's got a lot of, basically everybody's brand new, and they've got to figure out how to work together, how to get themselves on the grid and communicating and doing the things that they need to do. Sophia's the one to get it done, but she's got a tall task ahead of her. She's got, big time pickups with Ben Collins, John Young, Colton Mertens, Aaron Medina, Lauren Olson, Ariel Swan, Colleen Carey, Matthew Rattay, Chantel Lunn, Avery Jesmer, Mason Belk, Taylor Krippner, Raphael Gala, and Natalie Schneider. A lot of those names you've heard in many different fitness capacities, whether that be in CrossFit or just in local throwdowns and competition, or, in other weightlifting competitions themselves. But, a lot of big personalities. The thing that is going to be super important for Sophia and the Bandits is managing those big personalities. Can they work together? They got a bunch of big time professionals. They got CrossFit Games athletes on the squad. But can they make that transition into grid? Only time will tell. And because of all of those uncertainties and unsureness, that's why the Houston Bandits land themselves at number 8. Coming in at 7, the Las Vegas Venom. All right, the Venom have had a crazy offseason. They've decided they wanted to basically clean house and start over. They've rebranded themselves from Daytona, and they've moved out to Las Vegas. Love the move, love the new logo, love the rebranding, love Paul, everything that they've got going on. On the show, he told me himself, he was like, look, we need a new thing. We've got to do some things differently. And so he did. He said, I got some big things coming, and boom, what do you know? They rebranded, they moved to Vegas, and he brings back Dylan Florentine, Torrey Height, and himself to to really start the foundation, the basis for what they're doing out there in Vegas. But some free agent acquisitions. I mean, he went heavy and he went hard. Wes Kitts, two-time weightlifting Olympian. Dakota Shackleton, Alex Smith. This is Alex's first full season with the Venom. We saw him a little bit last season. We know what he can do. We know what he comes from. Nick Andre, Michelle Young, Daniel Hardiman, Lydia Smith, McKenna Neeb, Eddie Ramirez is back after a brief hiatus. Marissa Mayer, Jasmine Woods, Michelle Basnet, two-time CrossFit Games athlete joining them. Seth Herbert, Army officer, Michael Levis, another CrossFit regional and semifinalist with the team. Julia Cook, Whitney Cotter, Danielle Barry, and Michael Andre. A nice core group of people to really start over and get things moving and moving in the right direction. I like what Paul's done in acquiring these new talents. But the big thing for Las Vegas and for them to move up is they got to have no drama. They got to have, and they got to show, and they got to prove that this is different. It smells different. It looks different. It feels different. It tastes different. Everything about this has to be different from what it was last season. And the question is can Paul Bear, can he piece it together and thrive out west? And if he can, the Vegas Venom have a super high ceiling. But for that, right now, they're sitting at number 7. Coming in at number 6, the South Beach Palms. I know they've got some really core people coming back. There's, they missed out on the playoffs just barely, but Briley, owner, coach, player, she's been in it for a while. She knows what she's doing. She's got her number one guy, Arturo Cabral. You can see him on socials. He's getting better at everything. Like, you name it. When I talk to him on the show, he wants to be able to do everything. He wants to be like a Swiss Army knife, and you tell him what you need, and he goes out and he does it. Brielle Macarelli, Heather Hudson, Jessica Placencia, Sam Secor, Cody Rice, Amber Bose, and Brandon Shipper to round out those returners. That's a solid, good group of returners coming back for the Palms. They're adding Loredana Naroda, Olympic national team gymnast, Nicole Hunt, and Johnny Caraballo. Now, what they can do and what they add is to be seen. I know Briley. I don't think she's going to bring any scrubs in there. So I'm guarantee you they got some definitely good backgrounds coming with them. But it's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of extra things. And so did they do enough in the free agent signings to balance this good core coming back? Did they do enough to make a playoff push after falling just short in the playoffs last year? So to be seen. I like where South Beach is headed. I like where they're at. They're number 6, but I could easily see them moving up after week 1. And so bringing us to number 5, the Atlanta Wild. You got, this could be, an unpopular opinion. The Wild at 5, the defending, United Grid League champs, sitting at 5. They're like, what are you doing? Well, let's talk through this for a second. All right. There's a lot going on with the Wild. Now, you do have Velma Gray. You have Sydney Wilson, Tom Soroka, Matt Cable, David McKellar, Kerry Billington, Tyler Billington. All of them are coming back from last year's championship squad. They've added Kawika Henderson, Rafael Reza from the Brigade, Bryn Carrick, who was a 2021 CrossFit Games team athlete with CrossFit Reignited. But the thing is, they have some holes, glaring holes, MVP level holes. They've got no Griffin Raleigh. They got no Amanda Fisher. As of today, those people are not on the roster. Can they fill those holes? And from what I see, those are 2 big shoes to fill. And not everybody is an Amanda Fisher, and not everybody is a Griffin Raleigh. And maybe being able to have Dan Jackson. I mean, love him or hate him, he's an X factor coach. Like, he's always thinking about coaching. A great mind in the Grid League when it comes to coaching and running a team. Can he fill those holes strategically with the people that he's acquired over the offseason? That will be determined. But the one thing that you always got to remember is that you are the champ until someone beats you. The thing is now Atlanta Wild, coming into this season, you are the target. You have the target on your back coming in as the defending champ. Everybody's out to get you. So sitting at number 5 is not too bad of a spot, but definitely got some work to do if you want to move up in the power rankings. Number 4, and this is another hot take right here, the Palm Beach Breakers. # those who stay. That's the the motto that they've been, going by throughout this whole off season, and those who stayed were Vita Vetterkind, Josh Newell, Shea Newell, Reese Lyons, Evan Newman, and Jonathan Restrepo. Now, those are some very good players. They each have their own specialties. Now, outside of Vita, Josh, there's some limited things with what the Breakers have been able to do. We know what they bring. Shea Newell was a surprise to them last year. Reese Lyons and the body weight, he's able to do things that nobody else can do. Evan Newman is just a young dude who is strong, and he brings a lot to the table. Um, but the thing is in order to be good, you got to have depth, you got to have balance, you got to have strength, utility, you got to have a lot of different things. And the one thing that Matt Hornaday told me is we have to become more of a professional organization from the top up. We've got to do the things that require us to win, and we've got to set expectations, set standards, and that starts with me. So he goes out, he hires Matt Evans to help him on the back office stuff with the management. And then they go out and they see what's happening with the Venom. And so they go, all right, I know a philosophy that works, and that's picking up people who have been in the league and know what they're doing. There's no rookie, learning curve that has to be done. There might be some drama swirling around and kind of floating around some of these people, but if I can bring them in and we can have a restart, this might be something that is very fruitful. So he goes out, he gets JoJo Gomez, Alyssa Martinez, Dylan Fullwood from the Venom. He gets Haley Booker and Billy Shelton. Those are two of the most sought after free agents in the offseason. Every team was looking at both Haley and Billy to come anchor something on their rosters. He goes in, he reaches out to Kristen Therian, and she's back after a brief hiatus. Goes out in a Alabama combine, finds a Nate Cobb, finds Andrew Dodd. Those are two people that are bringing specialties and bringing things to a team to add more depth. Jordan Hayes, Alyssa Hoffman, Sabrina Cheney. This is her third year new to the Breakers. Cody Schaefer, new to the Breakers from the Palms. So really solidifying, got some new faces, but bringing back some older ones, but also bringing back some people that are in their prime and ready just for a new start. And I think Palm Beach has done an immaculate job at their offseason acquisitions, their free agents, and the big thing is will Matt Hornaday's new philosophy pay off? And can the players step in and, with those returning players, and can they do it quickly? And I say quickly because last year it was it took the whole season before they felt like they were hitting their stride. Well, they can't wait that long this year. That's why these veterans that are new to the Breakers have to come in and they have to contribute immediately. They can't fall behind. They can't afford to. And in a season as short as ours, you've got to stay on top and you got to keep the point differential close and you got to win matches, hands down, bottom line, point blank, period. So sitting at 4 just because of the offseason that they had done an amazing job. The Breakers are there. Coming in at 3, the Tampa Bay Brigade. I mean, when you want to talk about model of consistency, look at the Brigade. Consistently strong. They're always a team that everybody is looking at as being a really solid squad. You're going to get Jess Kraisman back. She's not pregnant this time. She's, from her mouth, she said, I'm ready to FSU, which means F shit up. And I believe it. I've seen her, like her and Marissa Oxenford, who's a veteran experience. They just went out and won a competition here in Tampa. WOD Wars, no big deal. Hey, we'll just team up together and we'll go kick everybody's ass and do a little CrossFit and then practice some grid the very next day. You got Chris Coffey, when Chris Chaffee is a guy who can do it all, but he's so good at the body weight stuff. He's like a ninja. Like there's not a single like monkey wrench that you can throw in there that this guy can't do. It's just amazing to watch him do what he does. Rebecca Rouse, 2025 Texas State weightlifting champ, 3rd in the nation, just a powerhouse. She's coming back again this season, and really, she's someone who could be a difference maker for the Brigade. And you might see her on some Player of the Year watches, on some Strength Player of the Year watches. She has power, she's got strength, and she can do gymnastics. She can do it all. Dalton Herrero, if you watch him, he's slowly becoming a very good utility player, probably one of the top utility players in the league. I would like to see where he stacks up this year because he's done a lot of work. He's building rigs and doing things at home, probably breaking HOA rules to get gym equipment outside his house in the backyard. But hey, the guy's committed. He's getting after it. He's doing big things. You got Kyle Massey. He just seems to get stronger and stronger every day. The one person I would kind of be hesitant on is Garrison Matthews. Not that he is not talented; he's uber talented. The problem is he's coming back from a back surgery from this off season. How quickly does he bounce back? But when you add Jocelyn Williams, Ariana Durham, Hannah Bissett, Dan Aberman, Courtney Moss, and Isabella Carvalho to the mix, you got an amazing amount of strength and an amazing amount of utility. You just balance. This team has a lot of people coming back. And not only that, but they're adding some big time players. They're adding Kayla and Alex Hollings, Brittany Latham, Mike Rosa, Brandon Theries, and Dan Ty. These are all offseason signees that could solidify the one couple of things that the brigade were missing from a championship last year. So the big question for the brigade: can the new free agents step up and fill in roster holes? Can Jess continue to build on that culture that she's worked so hard to revamp and rebuild over the past couple years? But the brigade are in a good spot. They open up against the Palms, so we'll see where both of those teams stand in week one. But the brigade are looking good at number 3. Coming in at 2, Fort Lauderdale Lions. Now this is an interesting story. All right, the Lions and the Aces. All right, there was a moment in Vegas where these teams came together, out of necessity, to make the event work, and they liked it so much that after it was over, they sat down in the off season and they started brainstorming, like, what would happen if we merged teams? Taylor Stallings, one of the all-time greats in the United Grid League, decides to retire, and she owner and coach and just player of the Aces, and not having that person, she's like, well, I need somebody to take over, someone that I can trust. And she offers it up to Jamie Golden. Her and Jamie talk, friends, and felt as though this was a good fit. Now, all the details and all the specifics around why they merged and how they merged and why they became the Lions and not the Aces, that's for another day. But long story short, they are the Lions. And what they've done is they've taken the best players from the Lions and the best players from the Aces, and they put them on a team together. Returning for the Lions, you got Paul Elias, Eric Cardona, Briley Smith, Marcos Medina, and Paul Moran. Now, great players for the Lions. They're adding from the Aces: Janine Nicole, Megan Medeiros, Taylor Sturgis, Darren Lasso, Ryan DeMatti, Jasmine Simpson, Trisha Davis, Alex Velez, Julio Delgado, Angel Andrade. I mean, all of those are acquired talents that have played in grid at high levels, and a lot of them have won a championship with the Aces. So they're bringing experience. They're bringing that championship mentality. They're bringing these things to an already stacked team. You're adding Reagan Hathaway, Michelle Washington, and Camille Capeles to the mix. And to me, that's pretty solid. The one question that I would ask is, can two teams come together with no egos? Can they be team first and live up to the hype of the super team? Because you're going to take and you're going to have to give. And there's going to be this back and forth give and take between both sets of players from the Lions and the Aces coming together, where if I was a player and I did certain races last year or certain movements last year, I may not necessarily do that this year. Or if I was one of the better players and I only did a couple different specialties and there's another person who does it better, like, I might not see myself on the grid. And those things are tough to swallow when you're someone who just last year you were on the grid consistently doing your thing and being a key player. So can that coexist? It's yet to be determined, which is why, they have all the talent, they have all the makings to be in a great team. But because of that question of can this super team coexist, I got them at number 2. And then finally, rounding it out, number 1, the Southwest Florida Sharks. The Sharks, Fico Gomez back at it again. He's got his 2024 Utility Player of the Year, Nick Shappy, and in my opinion, could be the 2025 United Grid League Player of the Year if he wants to be. His training partner, his wife, Sammy Nally, they're getting after it. She's coming back. Chelsea Ranieri, who just came back from CrossFit semifinals, Wadlam Fest out in Spain, just crushing it there. She's back. Sam Martin, the captain, he's back. David Blatt, Breezy Lyons, Valerie Gunning, Derek Anderson, Shaquem Graham, Sid Witter, Kristen Bonito, Roderick Holloway, and Jesse Coleman, all coming back. Like, that's enough to win in and of itself. But Fico's not happy with that. He wants more. And I don't blame him. I'd want more too. I'd want to win. I want a winning roster. I want a winning lineup. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything in the offseason to solidify our spot, because when I line up, I want to know that I've done everything I could do. Now it's on the players to put themselves in a position to go out and win. They've added, in the free agent market, Dana Perron, she can do it all. Chris Matos, a world championship strongman. If you haven't seen what Chris Matos can do, go to his social media and just check it out. It's unbelievable. Strong, strong, strong dude. Kelsey Keel, a 5-time, CrossFit Games athlete. And rounding out that is a guy that I think is irreplaceable. He is, you can't put a value on Blake Kidder. He's coming over from the Wild, and you can't put a value on it because he's strong. He can do a lot of things, but he brings a leadership component, and he brings championship experience to a team that might be the one thing from last year that they need, is someone who's been there and done it and is like, hey, let's stay within ourselves. Let me walk us through it. Y'all follow me. I'll put you on my back because this is how we do it. And Blake Kidder brings those things to the table. The big money question for the Sharks is they've added a lot of high profile athletes to an already stacked roster. Now, can they see eye to eye and come together as one? And that's always the big thing when you have all of these people who have all these different, personal accolades, is can they come together and can they coexist? You know, and in my opinion, like, you either have that or you don't. And I think it's going to be glaring in match one whether the Sharks have it or they don't. And then the second big thing is, can bringing a guy like Blake Kidder over with his experience and his leadership and his championship mentality, can that get the Sharks over the hump? Because I don't think anybody shoots to be runner up or in second place. And I know that, talking to Fico, that sits heavy on him. He wants to win it all. He's not happy about how last year ended, and he wants it. He wants it all. He wants all the smoke, and he's coming for it. So he's put together an amazing roster, and it's going to be great to see, great to watch. And on May 24th in Miami, Florida, we won't have to wait long because it's just a few weeks away, and hope to see everybody there. It's going to be action-packed. It's going to be awesome. So y'all stay with me. Be on the lookout for more. We're going to unpack some of these teams individually over the next few weeks. We're going to do a week one breakdown of all the storylines that are out there, because there's a lot. Week one is jam-packed with stories. So I look forward to seeing y'all, communicating, talking to y'all. But until then, always remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.